family. Welcome back to Recharge. Hopefully you can hear me because I'm out in this water where I told y'all I like to be. Let me let y'all see what this one of my favorite places. Hopefully the wind is not gonna be blowing too hard, but welcome back to Recharge as we get the shot of energy that we need at the end of our week. Today we're going to continue our discussion on Matthew 11:28. So last week we talked about the come to me portion of what Jesus said. Jesus said, come to me. And we talked about the difficulty that there can be in coming to Jesus, but the necessity that there is to come to Jesus. Today I want to talk about who Jesus says can come. So Jesus says, come to me. And then he says, all. So that means everybody. But then he puts a little caveat on this thing. He says, all who are weary and heavy laden, or labored and burdened. So Jesus says that those who can come to him, those who should come to him, are those who are working hard, those who are laboring, those who are taking painstaking efforts in life. Specifically, I think for us as believers, specifically taking painstaking efforts in living the life that God has called us to. And so Jesus says, if your life feels laborsome, which the Christian life does, come to me. All of you who are laboring, come to me. Then he says, those who are burdened or heavy laden. So this is somewhat of a separate category. These are people who they may not be able to labor as much as the next person because they are weighted down by burdens. They may not be able to kind of get up the effort and work up the nerve to do certain things. But he says all of those people should come to me too. All of those people who are burdened down by sin and shame and guilt and may be distraught and may feel misunderstood and may feel like nobody else is available or even understands. Jesus says, come to me, all of you. And the reason why I love this caveat that Jesus puts on this is because I think at some time or another, and probably today, all of us are in one of these two categories in some way. And so what that means is this invitation is for all of us. That's how Jesus can say, come to me, all who are weary, laboring, or heavy laden, burdened. All of us are working at something. All of us are striving towards something. All of us have weights that we carry around towards something. So yeah, Jesus says what he says. He says, come to me all who are weary and heavy laden. And then there's a promise. I will give you rest. So your labors aren't going to give you rest. Your weights ain't going to let up. But I can give you rest. I just wonder for how many of us need that going into this weekend. How many of us have been burdened by so many things the last few days, this week. How many of us have felt like we've worked really hard this week, not just on our jobs, but on loving our spouses correctly, loving our kids correctly, loving our neighbors correctly, our family members correctly, and striving to kill sin in our lives and to live righteous lives. I wonder how many of us need to hear Jesus say, come to me with all of your stuff and I'll give you rest. Because that is his promise. So I invite you this weekend to believe his promise that he'll give you rest. I love you guys. I will see y'all Sunday, and we'll talk soon.